Let's have a fair fight.
Welcome, stranger.
You are now tuned in.
Tired of not knowing what your loved one wants? Don't know how to communicate your true feelings? Hi, I'm Teja Priyadarshini, and this is a show about love, sex, intimacy, and relationships. Learn how to communicate better and bring back the romance in your life. This is Game, Set, Love. Hi, I'm Teja Priyadarshini, founder of Akashic Cosmic Healing, a spiritual transformation coach and a psychic medium, and someone who loves love. So today in our episode of Game Set Love, we are going to be talking about conflict resolution in relationships. We often fight with our loved ones, especially those who mean the world to us, like our partners, our spouse, our lovers, whoever they may be. It feels that at some point in the relationship, there might be something like a situation or something someone said or something someone did that often leads to arguments or a fight. Then what do you do in such situations? How do you resolve the issue of whatever it is that is causing you the problem in the relationship? Well, first of all, you need to start with a fair fight. Before entering the conversation, identify what you are feeling, what caused you to have that feeling, and where is that feeling coming from? Is it coming from an insecurity? Is it coming from past experiences? It is very important for you to identify what you're feeling and how you're feeling, and what caused you to feel that feeling, in order to have some clarity before you go fighting with your partner. And you need to also take responsibility for your feelings by using the statements that start with I. Remember, I told you this in the very beginning, I think it was in the first episode. When you use statements like I feel this way when you do something, will take the blame away from that person and kind of make that person see that it is not about them, it is about how their behavior is making you feel. So when you start off by saying, I feel nervous when you look at other women, for example, that is telling them that, look, it's not about you, but it makes me feel a certain way when you do something like this, all right? And when you're also getting into an argument or a disagreement with your partner, try not to use any offensive language, because that can make things worse. It's never a good thing to kind of lose your head and start abusing. That's not gonna get any resolution anytime soon, if you know what I mean. Be very specific and concise with the issue. Like, try to stick with that particular issue instead of going all over the place and picking on things that might have happened ages ago and bringing them to the present situation and then comparing the two. That kind of escalates the issue and escalates the problem instead of you finding a solution for it. And also allow the other person to voice their opinion or their thoughts on this particular issue. So take turns talking and don't interrupt them, and let them also not interrupt you. So at the very beginning itself, just say, hear me out, I'm gonna also hear you out, but when I'm speaking, please don't interrupt, and when you're speaking, I will not interrupt. So make sure the boundaries are very clear when you start your conflict resolution. Also, don't try to shut down your partner by, closing off your arms or, walking away or creating like a barrier between the two of you, either emotional barrier or mental barrier. Try to keep an open mind. And sometimes, certain resolutions take time. They don't always happen instantaneously. So take some time out, but always talk about the differences and keep it objective. Try not to blame the person for it. That is very important. But sometimes, when you're not finding that resolution, it's okay to take some time off. But there is a difference between walking away and taking a time out. So you have to understand that difference. You're not walking away from the problem. You're just saying that let's take a break and let's come back to this like at another time, Be aware of your verbal and non-verbal communication as well. Like I was telling you, try not to use abusive words, and also make sure your body language is more receptive, more open. Don't yell or cross your hands or, start gesturing with your hands in all sorts of ways. To keep the conversation more neutral and more open, and probably a little more tempered down, and try to negotiate or come to a compromise when a certain situation is not working out for the two of you, because sometimes it is important to hear both sides of the story and find a common ground. But the most important thing when you have to resolve a conflict with your partner, start off soft, because when you start yelling and screaming and shouting, that's a harsh start. And when you go into an argument or trying to resolve a conflict in that way, it's not going to work. It's definitely not going to work. So start soft by saying, hey, listen, I want to talk to you about something that's been bothering me, instead of just jumping right into it and screaming your head off and saying, I hate it when you do this, And again, very, very important to use I statements when you're starting off, saying that I want to have this conversation with you because there are a few things that are bothering me. And you can probably say, I feel hurt right now because of something that you did. So what the I statements do, again, I'm reiterating this because it's a very, very important statement usage of the word I, is it takes away the impact or the focus of blaming the person and only focusing on the act or the words they used or the behavior they had exhibited, and that is more important, because if you say you did this, then you're kind of blaming the whole personality or the whole person, and they will take it as a personal attack. But if you only focus on, say, a behavioral trait that you don't like, perhaps, then it is not the person you're dissing. You are only talking about that one particular trait that you're not approving or you don't like, right? And utilize the conversation to complain and share about your feelings, but do not blame the other person. Because when you're sharing your feelings, you're not like telling them that because of you, this is what happened to my life and my life is ruined. And when you're going in that tangent, things just escalate and get out of hand. But if you're gonna civilly sit down and say, look, this is what I'm feeling right now, and I want you to tell me how we can resolve this together, then you're allowing the other person also to put across their point of view and maybe find some common ground while you do that. Because no matter how wrong the other person is, approaching any conversation with like criticism or blame is not going to give you the resolution you're looking for. Describe what you're feeling and what you're experiencing very clearly and concisely, because remember, I told you, before you go into the argument, make sure that you know how you're feeling, what it is that you are disturbed by, and what you want to discuss, so that you are not going all over the place. You are very clear, you know why you're hurt, why you're getting into that discussion in the first place, because this can help your partner understand your point of view. Be positive and polite, adding polite statements like, I appreciate it when you are listening to me, or when you respond kindly, or when you just allow me to speak without interruption. These kind of things are telling the other person that, look, I still love you and I want to resolve this so that we can have a better relationship with one another. So try to be kind and polite. I know sometimes it's very, very difficult to do, especially when you're very hurt. It is not easy, but that is why taking some time out to understand what you're feeling and where that feeling is coming from and what has caused you to feel that is so important. Once you understand that, then it is easier for you to put it across to your partner and then be kind about it. So start off by being polite, because it's very important to have that positive attitude if you really want to get back to that healthy relationship that the two of you are having. And also address things as they come. Don't wait and simper on it for like months on end, or just kind of accumulate everything till it becomes unbearable, and then you start bursting out and saying, you always do this, you never do that. The words always and never are very, very disappointing words in any argument. So try to avoid words like always and never, because they don't tend to resolve any conflict. In fact, it's like adding fuel to the fire when you use words like you always do this or you never do that. It just escalates the problem and makes it worse. So just as and when you are feeling certain things, it's better to address it as and when it happens, rather than like waiting forever to address that issue, because you're like, okay, it happened one time, I don't think it's going to happen again, and then you let it go and you let it go, and then it starts to build up within you, and then there is resentment and hatred, and it's just going to poison your relationship at the end of the day. So address the things as and when they come up, so that it doesn't overwhelm you, and both of you are aware of it from the start, that there is an issue that you are working towards resolving together. So it makes it much easier for the two of you to overcome the problems. Now, how do you strengthen your relationship after you have an argument like this? You need to understand that when two people come into any relationship, whether it's friendship or a romantic relationship, there are two different personalities that are constantly evolving and changing over time. So you cannot expect the other person to be the same every single day. They are obviously going to change with their life experiences. It's not going to be the same every single day. However, if you're going to treat your partner with respect, love, and care, and nurture them through this evolution of themselves, then you will understand these changes and be more accepting of it. And once you know that your partner is growing with you and the two of you are growing together, the love and the respect will be mutual and it will keep growing. So every time you are addressing your partner in any argument, you will also know that there are these differences because of personal growth and evolution that happens over time, and you are being then polite in addressing these issues. So treat your partner with respect, love, care, because after all, they're also human, right? Accept your partner's flaws and embrace their strengths, because everyone has some downside to them. It is not possible for a person to be absolutely perfect without any flaws at all time. There will be like one or two things here and there which might bother you, might irritate you, might annoy you even. So understand those flaws and be willing to accept those flaws if you want to work with that person in creating a beautiful relationship that allows the two of you to grow and nurture each other and create something beautiful in your lives. So understand that your partner is not perfect, that they may have some flaws, and those flaws add to the character that you fell in love with. Remember all this before you go into an argument, right? Respect your partner's beliefs and values and their opinions, because everyone has opinions, everyone has different views, and each of us have our own belief systems. So when you are getting into a relationship and you're exploring each other, it's important to dig deep and understand what their belief system is, what they value, what are their principles in life, and if they're different from yours, try and find a balance, because it is going to be different from you. It's not going to be exactly the same, even though there are 10 points that out of which 9 might meet your belief systems. There would be that one point that may not meet your belief system or your value system. So it is okay if they have different values and different belief systems, but it is important for you to know and acknowledge that and work with it so that you can create a better relationship. And everyone has their own opinions, own beliefs, own viewpoints on certain things, and it's okay to disagree with them sometimes, but that doesn't make their viewpoint wrong or your viewpoint right. Right and wrong is so subjective, and everyone has their own rights and wrongs in their mind. Understanding this is going to make you understand your partner even better. And when your partner wants to grow with you, encourage and guide them. You cannot force your partner to change. You can't force anybody to change. That is like one of the universal truths. But you can be their biggest cheerleader and support them and guide them to achieve their goals. But you can also choose to probably adapt yourself in a way that helps your partner achieve their goals and grow along with you. And try not to compare them with anybody else, because it's so unreal when you start to compare your partner with someone else in your life, or someone else you might have had in your life that was more compatible with you, because each person is different. No two people are the same. But when you start comparing your partner with someone else, it kind of creates more friction, and then conflict resolution becomes very, very difficult. Understand your partner's story, experiences, motivation, and intentions, so that once you understand what's going on in their minds and what is it that is motivating them to create the kind of life they want to create, you can then contribute to that. You can help be a friend on that journey. You can also help your partner make certain decisions, and then this kind of contributes to a steady, sturdy foundation for that relationship that you're building with your partner. And when you fall in love with someone, you don't fall in love with them just for those few bits that you like, right? Maybe they're good looking, maybe they're rich, maybe they're successful in whichever field they're working in. But those are all the good bits. What about the bits that are not so good? If you love someone, you have to love them for everything they are. So at the very beginning itself, it's important for you to understand who they are, what they represent, what their motivations are, what their opinions are about certain things, and love them irrespective of that. Even if you are in a long-term relationship and you haven't had the chance to do that, try to have that conversation with your partner and ask them about themselves more deeply. Ask them about their opinions, their viewpoints on certain things. It's not too late to recreate a sturdy foundation for your relationship. And the biggest thing you need to have in any relationship is truckloads of patience. You need to be patient with your partner because they may be going through something, but once you have that kind of patience in a relationship, it allows you enough time to understand the nuances of it and also the mindset of your partner. So acknowledging all that your partner is going to create a more long-term sustainable relationship, and the two of you can encourage one another to grow and to flourish, and nurturing one another to create that beautiful world that the both of you want to live in. That is such an amazing place to be in.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
I hope this episode helped you understand how you can resolve conflict. If you have more questions for me, send them in my DMs on my Instagram page at Teja Priyadarshini. Alright, so next week we're going to come up with another important and interesting topic. And this time, I'm not going to give you a topic. I want you to tell me what you want me to talk about. Love, relationships, intimacy, sex, whatever it is. DM me and get in touch with me, because I want to hear your opinions. I want to know what you want me to talk about next, and then we will do the next episode in that exact manner. Sending in lots of love and magic. Until then, love you guys. This is Game Set Love. Tune in every Friday at 7 p.m.